This video is rated mature 17+, not necessarily because of the blood and gore, intense violence, strong language, sexual themes, use of alcohol, or the use of drugs, but rather because we will be talking about paid-for mods, and let's face it, that subject definitely brings out the inner child who just wishes to kick everything over. This is going to be an interesting video for me to try and record. The E3 conference for Bethesda has happened, and they've announced a number of things, including what looks like paid for modding, but apparently isn't paid for modding, but probably is when you look at it. We're not totally sure. Now, we knew this was coming, we knew it was going to happen again, we just didn't know when or what form. Now, I've looked at the release video and I've tried to find some more details, but it's actually a bit sketchy at the moment. So I'm going to watch it and we can talk about what the
Bethesda
hell is going
Game
on.
Studios is known for creating open living worlds with seemingly limitless gameplay content. But what if there was another way to experience even more, something all new? Introducing Creation Club, a collection of new game content for Skyrim and Fallout 4, including new weapons, new armor, new outfits and accessories, new crafting and housing features, even new gameplay enhancements.
Now, you see, already what they've just described is mods, okay? They've described mods. And if we're going to pay for these, that's paid for modding. It really is. Now, my first thought when I heard about this, and I heard that it was going to be a little more curated, was, well, that's a good sign. And I was hoping we would get less of the trashy type of mods, you know, like here's a sword, here's some horse armor, give me $5. But they start off by showing us armor, weapons, and so on. I think that might have been a mistake in the trailer, because in actual fact, I'm not totally sure whether that's going to be the predominant form of content here. And we'll see why in
Using
a
Creation Club
second.
is easy. Browse the selection in-game by category, and use credits to download right there.
Now, what are these credits? Do we have to buy them? Can we earn them? Is there a way to get them by doing achievements? Do we get a certain number for free? It's all very vague, isn't it?
Your new content will appear automatically. Creation
That is crab armor, isn't it? Do you think that's a joke? Do you think that's Bethesda laughing at themselves a tiny bit? It might be. Probably backfired.
Club content is made by Bethesda Game Studios and outside developers, including the very best community creators.
Right, so it's stuff that's created by Bethesda themselves, outside developers, and community creators. That's the modding community, right? That last one. But they mention outside developers. So they're probably going to, what, allow other developers, I mean, let's just say Obsidian for a laugh, to create a whole new mod. And those of you who know how Bethesda games work, you could actually create a whole new game with a mod. So, you know, we could have a Fallout, like New Vegas 2, that type of thing from Obsidian coming out via this. Now that, in my opinion, would be great news.
These outside creators work hand in hand with Bethesda Game Studios, which means all content will be fully compatible with your save games, achievements, and official add-ons.
Now this is something I think is a good sign. What they've essentially said there is, we're going to curate this, we're going to check everything, we're going to make sure that all of these mods work on all three platforms, and we may even add new achievements, but more importantly, they're going to work with existing achievements. Now that means they're going to have some human interaction, because obviously they can't have a mod that just gives you all of the achievements. That, you know, I mean, if there's an achievement for getting 1,000,000 coins and you have a mod that just gives you 1,000,000 coins, that's not going to be an option. So it sounds very much like they are going to be curated, and that I think is going to be a huge deal and pretty much changes the entire landscape for this sort of concept.
Creation Club is coming this summer to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
PlayStation 4? Really? I mean, have they got round the whole scripting thing? The whole no external resources? Or will it... Oh, no. Curation. If Bethesda curate this, it may be possible that whatever gets added to the mods via resources will be allowed via Sony because Bethesda are going to take responsibility for it. This could be a big thing for the PlayStation 4 owners, actually.
Creation Club. The worlds of Fallout 4 and Skyrim just got a little bit bigger.
I gotta admit, I like that last bit. Okay, so I've always said that paid for mods are only going to work if they add something to the experience rather than take something away. So the question is, does this do that? And it's too early to say. I'm a little worried that they showed armor and weapons and that sort of thing, because I gotta tell you now, I've never seen an armor mod or a weapons mod that I think would be worth even $5. Perhaps with the exception of something like one of the immersive armor packs where you got, 200 sets of armor or 200 weapons, something like that, maybe. But even then, I gotta be honest with you, I think I'd rather just troll around and get lots of free armors and just add them manually. And the thing is I know a lot of people are going to freak out right now and say, oh, but it's the death of free modding. It is not the death of free modding. It is not. It wasn't the death of free modding last time. It's not going to be the death of free modding this time. People need to stop overreacting. Even if they didn't have curation, which they do have, the simple fact of the matter is a lot of these mods are going to try and charge something that no one's going to pay for, and they won't do very well. And here's what I can absolutely guarantee. If somebody releases a sword and tries to charge $3 or $4 for it and no one wants to buy it and it's just one single sword, some other mod maker will make a sword that's almost identical and, they probably can. I'm not sure what the legal ramifications are there, but I would imagine that as long as they created it themselves, they can create this and then upload it for free, and someone will do that just to be, annoying to the paid for modder. The mods that are not going to have that done to them are the mods that require hundreds, if not thousands of hours of work. So for me, when I look at this, when they talk about external developers, I'm thinking major quest mods, but I'm thinking of this for content creators as well. I'm thinking people like the Enderall team, I'm thinking Falskar, the Helgen Reborn mod, things like that. Things that add 10, 20, 30 hours of new quest content to play. Those are the sort of mods I could imagine people being willing to buy. Now, some of you are going to say, but I don't want to buy them. I want them for free. And if they have these paid for mods, I won't get any of them for free. I still think that's wrong. I still think there will be some quest mods out there for free. But inevitably, yeah, with mods like that, mods of that size, the content creator is probably going to try and get into this club and charge a little money. The plus side is there will be a lot more people and teams willing to do this, to put in the sort of commitment required for that kind of mod or DLC. And so we may see an awful lot more content. And this could actually be a great thing. I mean, imagine Skyrim if there were teams out there making DLC-sized lands, new places to visit, and maybe even total game overhauls like Enderall, and releasing them for $10, $15. $15 for a total conversion mod. You've already got the base game, you spend $10 or $15 and you have essentially a whole new game. That's actually something that adds value to us. So there are some potential upsides to this. Again, I am a little worried about the fact that they started straight away with armor and where was it? Yeah.
New armor, new outfits and accessories.
I mean, this is
accessory fits and accessories.
Where's
new
the new armor?
crafting,
Where's the new armor?
accessories,
Shop that.
armor,
This one.
new outfits.
Learn to pause. That's the Chinese stealth armor. That's already a free mod. Now, they are saying you're not going to be able to take your existing mods and turn them into paid-for mods. That's not going to happen. But at the same time, they're showing stuff that...
New outfits and accessories.
I wouldn't pay for. I'm sorry, I would not pay for a backpack mod. I wouldn't. Now, maybe if it was a super mega equipment mod with 100 new weapons, 100 suits of armor, 12 new power armor sets, and, you know, yada, I might think about it. And that would add value to some degree, because at the moment, when you want 100 pieces of armor, the chances are you're going to download 90 mods and install them all. It's going to be a lot easier for you if there is one mod that will allow you to install, you know, just a complete overhaul of the equipment system. And you might think to yourself, $5, it's worth it not to just have to download all of the small mods. Will that mean that mod authors will not release these small mods with 1 or 2 weapons? I doubt that. I really do doubt that, because most people do not have the sort of time that's needed to create that amount of content. And a lot of people just enjoy releasing their stuff for free anyway. There were plenty of mod authors in the first attempt who said, nope, I'm going to continue uploading for free. Yes, I am. Now, some people said, would this be, you know, a problem if Bethesda turned around and said, no, you can no longer give free mods? Well, they've announced that that is not going to be a problem. They've said there will still be free mods. They've said this, so it looks like this is just something that's on top. It's too hard to say at this stage whether or not it's good or bad. Some of the things they're saying here make me think, okay, this might work. And there are other things that make me think we're going to have a rocky start. I know this is inevitable. I know it's going to happen eventually. I'd rather it didn't, mostly because I just know the drama it's going to create, and I can't stand drama. But I also know it is inevitable. I wish they would avoid things like this, like single items, weapons, assuming that's what they're talking about. Please don't add that sort of thing. It actually looks like they've just taken a bunch of mods and used it as examples at the moment. Maybe that's it. They should have content that is curated and is something that's just really worth money. That's what we want. We want to pay for something that's worth paying for. Yes, I know there are some people who want to get everything for free, but generally, if we feel like what we're buying is worth it, we're actually pretty happy to do that. We just don't like feeling like we're forced to do it. So I know some people are going to say, but some mods are essential. My guess is if you're thinking about things like Sky UI, they're probably not going to allow that back onto the creation thing anyway. But my opinion there has always been, if there's a mod that becomes essential, then frankly, the creator of that mod should get paid for it. Although my personal opinion is, if it is that essential, it might be something that Bethesda should give away for free and pay the mod author for. Now that could be a possibility with this new system. Seeing as they are apparently going into partnership with other people, maybe they will contact certain mod authors and say, look, we want to give your mod away for free as part of our system, but we want to make it almost a default way to play, so we will buy it from you. Maybe they will do that. That, I think, would actually be a good thing. I think people would like that. If they got Sky UI for free, pretty much automatically installed with Skyrim if they wanted it, and they knew that the original mod authors had been paid by Bethesda, I think people would actually applaud that. The Creation Club site itself doesn't add too many more things, although it does have this fact, the frequently asked questions, or probably frequently screamed questions at the moment. And once again, it reiterates things like weapons, apparel, world, characters, creatures, and gameplay. Honestly, I think they should have focused more on the things like the world, characters, and gameplay at the top, and then maybe at the bottom just put weapons, apparel, and so on. Just put that underneath as a small thing. They they do talk about how you can get the items, and they mention the fact that you can buy the credits, but they don't mention if credits can be earned any other way. I'm not sure why they would use credits if the credits themselves can't be traded or used within their system. You might as well just have a normal dollar price otherwise. And this is the interesting part. When you want to become a creator, you have to apply to become a creator, and there is an exception process, and it does look like they're going to get very much involved in what and who is involved with this system, which is, I think, generally good news. Of course, right at the bottom, is Creation Club paid mods? No. Mods will remain a free and open system where anyone can create and share what they'd like. Also, we won't allow any existing mods to be retrofitted into the Creation Kit. It must all be original content. Most of the Creation Club content is created internally, some with external partners who have worked on our games, and some by external creators. All the content is approved, curated, and taken through the full internal dev cycle, including localization, polishing, and testing. This is all pretty important stuff. This also guarantees that all content works together. We've looked at many ways to do paid mods, and the problems outweigh the benefits. We've encountered many of the issues before, and there's a constant demand from our fans to add more official high quality content to our games, and while we're able to create a lot of it, we think many in our community have the talent to work directly with us and create some amazing things. Honestly, I like what they're saying here, although it's like, no, it's not paid for mods. It's paid for mods, it is. But then you could argue DLC is paid for mods. If you want to argue the difference between DLC and a mod, you could be here all day. It's not paid for mods. I think a better description here would have been, this is not paid for modding as in replacing the modding community mods. They should have just said, this is paid for DLC. They should have just said that. It's paid for DLC. It's got a lot of similarities to mods, but the differences are it will be curated, tested, checked, polished, localized, and supported by us, Bethesda, because that's what this is looking like. Which really does mean they're not going to let anybody submit things for this, and generally speaking, I think this is about as good as we could expect from paid for modding. I really do. Curation, that is the key thing. Beyond that, I think we're just going to have to wait and see. Of course, if they roll it out and there are 5 swords, crab armor, and, you know, I don't know, giant dildo armor or something like that, all for like $15 each, then yes, that will be a bit of a disaster. I suspect that's not going to be the case. But I highly recommend Bethesda really make sure they've got some really impressive mods when they roll out. I would actually have 2 or 3 decent sized quest mods for some of these games when I rolled this system out. If this was me, that's what I would roll out first. 2 or 3 quest mods, maybe 1 armor and weapon pack, but a big one, you know, $5 and you get 720 items. Just something massive, overwhelming. If they were going to have a monster pack, it would need to be, you know, like $5, and it gives you 350 new variations, so you get different ghouls. For those of you who used to use Mart's Mutant mod, something like that, they need to make it so that it's high quality and worth the money. And of course, that is a very subjective judgment. Interested in being a creator? No, I'm afraid I don't have the time nor the talent to do that. There are far more excellent mod makers out there who will do 1,000 times better job than I. Another question for people like me is, how will the review process work? Of course, free mods don't really need reviews, although they can often be helpful, but if you're paying for something, you will probably want to research it beforehand, and so we will need reviewers to get hold of review copies, I guess. I mean, will there be a refund system, for example? I mean, if someone buys one of these mods and it turns out to be rubbish, can they return it? Are they going to have that sort of thing? I can't imagine they will, but maybe they should. Will there be a trial for certain mods? It might be a good idea to have certain mods where you can try it out for an hour or so. Although, again, there could be problems there because once you've installed a mod, it generally leaves things in your save game, so removing it afterwards because the trials run out could be problematic. However, we are definitely in speculation land now, and we're basing all this off very little information. The sort of information we got from some tweets, some articles, and a video. And I have rambled on for way too long, so I'm going to wrap it up. Too long, didn't read version, I would say this is a little in the grey area at the moment. It could be a disaster. It could be okay. They might make this work. We're just going to have to wait and see. I am curious as to what you guys think, especially if there are any people out there who think this is a good thing, who think this could really add to the experience of games like Fallout and Skyrim. I suspect you will probably be in the slight minority. Most of the comments are going to be from people who are screaming no to various different decibel levels. But I am very curious as to people who have a positive feel about this, because that's mostly an unusual opinion, probably. So please leave your comments down below. Try to be polite and nice to each other. Don't start attacking each other because you disagree with each other on paid for mods. It is just modding. It is just gaming. It's definitely not worth starting World War III over, is it, right? Let's just remember why we're here. We're talking about our hobby, okay? Thank you for listening and putting up with this long ramble. I will speak to you guys soon and see you then.